Family time is brutal, let me tell you. This last Christmas, just a couple weeks ago, I spent it with my mom, my dad, my brother, and my sister-in-law. They're great, I love them, but because of that, I really needed an escape. So my wife and I went to California. That's where she's from. While we were down there, her father told me that I was able to use his car so that we could drive around and go wherever we wanted. The only downside to that is the fact that his car is a manual, and I don't drive manual. I know that's kind of embarrassing to admit as the 24-year-old that I don't drive manual, but I had to admit it to him. He kind of laughed at me, and it made me feel a little bad, but I told him, I was like, hey, if you want to teach me, I'm down. So he did. The next morning, I convinced him over breakfast to take me out and teach me, and he did. He took me and my wife, we went to a parking lot, and he taught me the fundamentals of learning how to drive a manual car. At first, it was pretty daunting. I was embarrassed. I stalled the car several times, and man, I just didn't want to be in the car with him. I don't have a great relationship with my father-in-law because my wife doesn't, and if I had a better relationship than my wife, that wouldn't go down so well. I'd probably be sleeping on the couch every night. So I have to kind of walk that fine line. So I had to make it work. I didn't want him to yell at me because he's known to yell, so I had to try my hardest, but I was stressed out. I was so frustrated. I kept stalling it. Starting it was super hard. I'd never learned these fundamentals before. Finally, I got it down. I was driving around, I was making some good turns, I had the clutch under control, I was shifting between gears, I had everything taken care of. But then he said, okay, let's drive on the street. This takes it to a whole new level. There's actually people on the street, and I'm gonna crash into them, I know it. I didn't, luckily. I made it through, I stopped at stop signs, I would start going, which, when you're driving a manual car, that's the hardest part, let me tell you. Shifting, when you're already in there, is super easy, but getting from stop to start, that's where it's difficult. Finally, he had me go up some hills, and that was difficult. He had me going around in circles and circles and circles, and I finally was able to actually get up the hill without stalling, and then he had me do it 10 more times. When I finally did it, I got up all the way up the hill, and I made it home back to their house in Camarillo, California, and I did it. The lesson to be learned here is that even though I feel like I know everything, I listen to learn. I was humble, and just like that, in any work situation, when your manager tells you to do something, teaches you how to do something new, don't feel like you don't know how to do it. Don't feel like you already know. Just listen, learn. And when you do, he'll let you do it yourself, and you'll learn so much more. You will grow, and you will become something that you never thought that you could before. Now I know how to drive a manual car. And further on, when I'm working, I'm going to learn how to do so much more.